Just adjusting the light here. Welcome in, welcome in. Have some glorious time here on my lunch break to go ahead and discuss with you part 8 of 2 Samuel. We're getting into more drama. If the last section was not dramatic enough, we had a bit of a downfall that King David had gone through, and we read about the consequences of that and the consequences of his sin, and we thought, let's just see what happens to the house of David. Let's just see what occurs next, even though we know that God had told him he will forever and strain due to the sword. So we know there are things coming. It's not all bad, but there are some things that happened in the house of David carrying out the rest of this book, and we'll see what happens in the next, that are a result of his decision and his sin of murder and infidelity. So we glorify David, right? He's this great king, but again, he is still human. We have to remember that he will make mistakes just like you or I. To go ahead and start this out, we have a quote. It is no longer a biblical quote. This is also from William Blake. So we are getting back into those kind of poetic quotes. Let's go ahead and just read it out, and then I'll write it. It says here, "My mother bore me in the southern wild, and I am black, but oh, my soul is white, white as an angel. White as an angel is the English child, but I am black, as if berev'd of light." Okay, so again, I talked to you about poetry. This is poetry from William Blake, 1757, 1827. And we're thinking, how does this relate to what we're talking about today? We will see. My mother bore me in the southern wilds, and I am black, but oh, my soul is white, white as an angel. It says is the English child. White as an angel is the English child. I guess I'll just leave it. It seems like it should be as the English child, but I'm not sure. Okay, I'm just going to leave it. I didn't look up the original source. I'm just going with my chicken scratch here. And black, as if bereft of light. Okay, so what this is describing here is an internal conflict. We face these time and time again, or maybe you know of somebody who faces an internal conflict or has faced an internal conflict. So this is a poem about a little black boy. He knows he's black, he looks black on the outside, but his soul, he has an inner conflict with his soul, and he recognizes his soul as being white, white as an angel, right? So this is an inner conflict, and we are going to be talking about an inner conflict with one of David's sons. He has this outward, he's of course David's son, but he has an inner conflict because he falls in love with none other than his sister, which we know is taboo. It's not allowed. Just like as you were to, present yourself in this world as a white person or a black person, you can't say, oh, well, really I'm black, or really I'm white. It's just not really an acceptable thing, but what it causes is this internal conflict. Same thing here with David's son. He can't go out and say, oh, I'm in love with my sister. He has to internalize it, and he has to go ahead and try to navigate his life with this internal conflict. So let's go ahead and read about it and see what the outcome is. Of course, it's going to be serious if we can gather that much, right? Let's see how he deals with that, and let's see what the outcome is. I always say, when I say let's see, it's going to be something serious. So let's go ahead and begin with chapter 13, verse 1. It says here, In the course of time, Amnon, son of David, fell in love with Tamar, the beautiful sister of Absalom, son of David. All right, son of David, beautiful sister. Okay, well, I'm thinking here, I guess this wouldn't be his sister. I just now realized this, but it says the beautiful sister. Oh, no, it would. Okay. For some reason, I thought it was daughter of Absalom, son of David, which would make that his niece. But it says here, the beautiful sister of Absalom, who is also the son of David. So it's Absalom's sister, which is also a son of David. So I guess it's like his sister, his stepsister, something like that, because he's born... I digress, but you know what I'm trying to say. The son of David fell in love with the beautiful sister of Absalom, son of David. Just take a beat, let that sit with you, right? There's some kind of familiar relation there, all right? It says, Amnon became so obsessed with his sister Tamar that he made himself ill. She was a virgin, and it seemed impossible for him to do anything to her. Do anything to her? That sounds already seedy, right? Why would you want to do something to your poor sister here? Alright, so let me just confirm too the spelling. I apologize, making sure I have it. I have a little war going on. I don't know if you can see. I have a puppy and a kitten who is getting very protective of her mommy. Puppy, why did you even come over here? She's trying to lay right here too. It's okay. Baby girl, be nice. We're a little bit out of order, you guys. Just a little bit. Recovering from a sickness here. Absalom. Amnon. Okay. I didn't know if it was Ammon or Amnon, but it's Amnon. Hey, what's going on? Hold on, let me sort this out. Excuse me. You can stay here, that's fine. Be nice. There's no kittens over here. You're fine. We have a territory war. We said that was not allowed, right? No territory wars. Anyways. Okay, continue here. Alright. So, David sent word to Tamar at the palace. Alright, so mind you, I didn't put this in here, but he does consult somebody, right? He's ill. Amnon is ill. He made himself ill because of this internal conflict, and he receives word and consultation from somebody within the palace, and he says, why don't you get, he's like, of course, you can't do anything about this, you know, why don't you get Tamar to come serve you and to come nurture you? That should satisfy the hunger within you. So again, we talked about this outside advice, right? These little birdies chirping in the ear, how it doesn't necessarily lead to anything good, right? It's usually problematic. So this consultant tells Amnon to go ahead and do this, and then so I believe it was Amnon or the consultant himself that went ahead and told King David to allow Tamar to go ahead and take care of her brother. So that's what was said. It says here, David sent word to Tamar at the palace. He says, go to the house of your brother, Amnon, and prepare some food for him. So David goes ahead and authorizes this, not really understanding the nature of this, or maybe he does, and is turning a blind eye. I'm not entirely sure. Does not disclose that. It says here, he called his personal servant and said, get this woman out of my sight and bolt the door after her. So I'm not putting this in. Again, it's not one of the required verses in the sevens pattern that we're going for. But what had happened is, of course, Tamar goes in, takes care of her brother, tries to serve him food, and asks her to feed him. He grabs her hand, and basically lust takes over him, and he does, I'm going to say, sexually assault her, right? He does take advantage of her. She, of course, refused it and said, no, this is not going to happen. And the urge came over Amnon, and he went ahead and did the terrible thing. In his own anger and his own frustration with himself, he basically shunned her immediately after, right? Felt so guilty with himself and angry with himself that he wanted to go ahead and inflict more pain onto Tamar by going ahead and being cruel to her. He says, get out, get this woman out of my sight, and he locks the door. So kind of a falsy problem there. What am I trying to say? Very shitty. Don't mind me saying, excuse my language, but that's really what he was. He was being shitty, okay? I don't think I've ever cursed on here, but that's essentially what that is. Alright. It says, when David heard all this, he was furious, as he should be. So I guess this was news to David that this little thing was going on between, not really between them, but with Amnon. And it says here, Absalom never said a word to Amnon because he had disgraced his sister Tamar. So this is a character here we're going to start paying attention to. Absalom, right, the sister of Tamar and the son of David as well, basically shut Amnon out. He did not want to speak to him. He was very, very rageful, or full of rage towards Amnon. It says here, Absalom went to the king and said, your servant has had shearers come. Will the king and his attendants please join me? So some time has passed, right? Amnon is being disgraced even further, and finally Absalom gets a group of people together to go ahead and shear the flock that they have. Absalom invites the king, and the king refuses. He said, no, I will be a burden to you. Go ahead and just go with your group. I'm not going to attend. And then Absalom, of course, asks, well, can we at least have Amnon come with us? And the king is like, why would you want Amnon to come with you? You have been not talking and disputing ever since the event. But again, the king turns a blind eye. I don't know. I think it's still this kind of drunk with power thing. He has a lot going on. He has a lot of children, a lot of wives, a lot of matters and affairs to attend to. So he's like, he questions Absalom in this, but he goes ahead and allows Amnon to go with Absalom. So it says here, no, my son, the king replied, all of us should not go. We would be a burden to you. But Absalom urged him, so he sent with him Amnon and the rest of the king's sons. So I guess it was Amnon and everyone else. Absalom ordered his men, listen, when Amnon is in high spirits from drinking wine, I say to you, strike Amnon down, then kill him. Do not be afraid. Haven't I given you this order? Be strong and brave. So this is murder, really. It's premeditated. Absalom is planning to murder Amnon, whether he deserves it or not. Most likely deserves it, but it is still a sin. And this is what we were talking about, where the sins of King David are soon following him. They are coming pretty consecutively after this. We're going to see what else happens here. But let's see, strike Amnon down. So this happens, right? Amnon is struck down. Word goes to the king that it wasn't only Amnon who was struck down, it was all of the other king's sons that did attend Amnon and Absalom. So the king is very, very angry in that, but then word was sent again that, oh no, it wasn't everybody. It was just Amnon who was struck down. The king is still very angry. He grieves. So Absalom fled, and he went to Talmai, son of Ammihud, the king of Geshur. But King David mourned many days for his son. So Absalom is out of the picture. He runs and hides. It says here, after Absalom fled, he went to Geshur. He stayed there 3 years. So 3 years he does not approach the realm of David. He does not come back to the palace. He's on his own for this time. It says here, Joab, son of Zeruiah, knew that the king's heart longed for Absalom. So Joab sent someone from Tekoa, and the wise woman brought, and had a wise woman brought from there. So even though Absalom did this terrible thing, it's still the king's son, and of course he didn't want to lose one son. Why would he want to lose both of them in this? So essentially he did lose both. So his heart was conflicted, it's longing. He was not going to put Absalom to death in any way. So Absalom was kind of running out of defiance and fear, but David, of course, was longing for him. So they set up some sort of dramatic play to go ahead and pull on the heartstrings of King David even further. Joab tells this wise woman to visit David, and he puts these words in her mouth, basically to tell the king a story about her 2 sons, and let's go ahead and read about it now. It says, the king asked her, "What is troubling you?" She says, "I, your servant, had 2 sons. They got into a fight with each other in the field, and no one was there to separate them. One struck the other and killed him. Now the whole clan has risen against your servant. They say, 'Hand over the one who has struck his brother down, so that we may put him to death for the life of his brother whom he killed. Then we will get rid of the heir as well.' They would be the only burning coal I have left, leaving my husband neither name or descendant on the face of the earth. And now your servant says, 'May the word of my lord the king secure my inheritance, for my lord the king is like an angel of God, in discerning in good and evil. May the Lord your God be with you.'" So she's pleading with him to go ahead and resolve this matter between her 2 sons, when in reality she's just trying to strike some ideas and emotions within David. Her sons are a fictional story. Anyways, the king, I don't know what it is, but King David just super in his cloud of power, right? He's not really understanding, but he's saying, "Oh, of course, yes. No one will touch your son. May him come back." He's being very compassionate. He really, I think, a lot of the times takes himself out of it and takes a lot of his personal issues out of certain situations, especially dealing with his people. But anyways, he comes to his senses. He comes back down, and he's like, the king asks, "Isn't the hand of Joab with you in all this?" So he finally comes to the realization that Joab has been coaching her with his words and her language, I guess. The king said to Joab, "Very well, I will do it. Go bring back the young man of Absalom." So he's saying, "Okay, I get it. Yes, your point was made. Go back, bring back my son," right? So in this course of time, Absalom comes back. He does not speak to the king, or the king does not speak to him. The king never summons him to come to the temple. So I think it would have been on Absalom, being that he's the one who committed the crime, he's the one that ran away, to go and visit the king and apologize and do what have you. But the king was not going to go to him in that sense, right? He was waiting for Absalom to come to him. He never did. In this course of time as well, whether it be in Gershom, where was it, Gershom that he was at? Geshur. He had 3 sons and a daughter that were born to Absalom. His daughter's name was Tamar, and she became a beautiful woman. So in this 3 years, I think it was 3 years, and I think about 1 or 2 more years that he was living back in the kingdom of David, but did not even see the king. All of this took place. 3 sons and a daughter. It says here, Absalom lived 2 years in Jerusalem without seeing the king's face. Then the king summoned Absalom, and he came and bowed down with his face to the ground before the king, and the king kissed Absalom. So right here, this is a great story of forgiveness that we haven't spoke about yet. It is very troublesome. I would say Absalom probably did the right thing. It wasn't necessarily the right thing, but it was not ill-intended, I guess, because he was trying to avenge his sister Tamar. And I guess the Lord did reward Absalom in a way with having a daughter who was as beautiful as Tamar, and he also names his daughter Tamar, okay, after his sister. So again, the king is very forgiving, even though he never summoned him prior. I think it was, again, on Absalom to go ahead and make the apology and things like that, but the king finally summoned Absalom after 2 years of stubbornness on either side, and then the forgiveness took place. So out of this, I would say the lesson is to forgive quickly, okay? This time period is really not necessary, but again, everything happens for a reason. Tensions between these two, we can tell, are very heavy and very strong. So there is some continued tension that we are going to learn about between David and Absalom, and we are going to discover what is coming out of that, right? But yes, the relationship is a little weird, but nonetheless, there is love and forgiveness. We see that here taking place. But that's it. Internal conflict. It proves to be a very troubling thing at times, I would say. All right, you guys, thanks for listening. I appreciate you sticking by me and really participating here. I did want to add any questions or comments that you would have on either of my videos, whether it be from the Quran or the Bible, any conversations that you would like to spark up in the comment sections. Don't be afraid. I'm here to go over everything. Like I said, I'm learning just as you are. I'm going through this just as you are, just really fresh and without much experience. So anything that you would like to discuss, feel free to add in the comments. I'm always open to other interpretations and ideas surrounding whatever I talk about. Again, I appreciate you all for staying to the end and listening. I'll catch you guys very soon with the next topic. All right, goodbye.